In this video, we'll go over the card sort activity to find out which of these functions have a limit when x approaches 2 and which of these functions do not have a limit as x approaches 2. In this graph, when x is equal to 2, we can see that we can approximate the output of the function as accurately desired by choosing our input values as close to 2 as possible. And then the outputs will be close to each other. So in this one, we would say, yes, the limit does exist. In this video, when x is this graph allows us to approximate the height of the function when x is equal to 2 as accurately as desired, because for values on either side of 2, the output values are close together, and we can say the limit does exist. We can improve the accuracy by picking our x values closer to 2. In this graph, when x is equal to 2, we have some trouble approximating the height of the function. If x is smaller than 2, the outputs are close to 4. But if x is larger than 2, the outputs are closer to 2. And we cannot shorten that gap. No matter how close we pick our inputs to 2, we can never get our outputs to be close together. We would say then that this graph does not have a limit when x is equal to 2. For this graph, when x is equal to 2, the output values are close together, so we would say the limit does exist. We can approximate the outputs as accurately as desired. This graph, the function is clearly not defined, but we can still approximate the height of the function. We can approximate where that hole is by picking our values close enough to 2. For values close to 2 on either side, the outputs are close together, and we can make them closer together by picking numbers closer to 2. Therefore, even though the function doesn't exist, this limit does exist. The only difference with this graph is that the hole is filled in, and limits really don't care what happens exactly at 2. So again, the limit does exist here, and we can use the same reasoning as the previous example. On this graph, when x is equal to 2, the outputs for inputs smaller than 2 are moving far, far away from the x-axis. And if x is larger than 2, the outputs are moving far, far away from the x-axis in the opposite direction. The closer we get to 2 on the inputs, the farther apart the outputs get. So this is a case where the limit does not exist.